Dear people of Denka, addressed to Miss LG. Thank you for doing all you can to bring attention to the health conditions being faced by your community. Give me a second. Waiting for acknowledgement. Hello. Thank you for doing all you can to bring attention to the health conditions being faced by your community. I understand from this article in The Guardian, October 8th, 2019, Cancer, Town, Japan, Factory Owners Refuse Meat Activist, that you recently attempted to confront Denka and give them the report compiled on health concerns in your community, and you were refused entrance. There are important things presented in this article that someone should discuss with you directly. 1. If the place to which you went manufactures chemicals, then there are at least supposed to be important environmental safeguards put in place concerning who would be permitted on site. If you are concerned they have problems with their safety, then see if you can find any reports on violations of safety reported by staff via an OIG. If you are not certified yourself in an appropriate manner, then it may be illegal for you to even enter. It is a chemical plant. There are completely serious and legitimate concerns about why they would not let official staff through or even take a paper report. 2nd, it would seem the report was composed in relation to the activities of DuPont and not during a time frame in which Denka had primary responsibility for the plant. Why did DuPont sell that plant at that time? Where or what did they transfer those assets to? There are a number of environmental changes coming up in the next year, and DuPont stands poised to benefit from that. Perhaps it would be a good move to see into DuPont's work on pending changes regarding sulfur standards connected to maritime trade and find where DuPont intends to benefit. If you cannot immediately hold them accountable for what they did in your community, then you might be able to forestall them doing something similar somewhere else and make connections with people who would be in a position to address things in the moment that might assist with obtaining some recognition for past activities. 3rd, there are a number of other efforts domestically to attempt to challenge or otherwise target Japanese companies while not following through on practices engaged by domestic U.S. companies. I do hope that you are able to appropriately get justice for what you need without being lured or deceived into assisting with an effort to vilify a foreign company for concerns that were created primarily by an American company, one, by the way, with a long history of similar sorts of actions. This is important because this article harkens to an effort by a community in another country that had problems with a Japanese company in the course of numerous other problems it had with domestic companies and domestic people in positions to authorize the foreign company's activities. It was also, I believe, especially now, posited in the manner it was for contrived racialized reasons. The realities of how people of color are targeted, especially based on lack of economic justice, are real in America, but so too are narratives of sufferance by communities of color in manners that feed into racism and stereotypes. I believe that someone that actually supported your community would have given you an actual strategy for how to engage, rather than playing into long-standing policies of depicting events such as your effort to present the information in the manner you did without assuring its success. 4th, getting back to point 1, I'm glad to hear that you were not threatened with arrest for what you did, but it was a chemical company. Had you been arrested for attempting what you did, then there would have been a serious charge on you that could have had far-reaching impact on your life. You should have been provided with a better process by which to have your grievances addressed without attempting to sensationalize it in a manner that could have potentially gotten you arrested. I do not know how to contact you, as to try to do so would mean going through a student group that is attempting to work with you. I will try to look up to see if you personally have any contact information online that does not interface through Twitter or Facebook. 11:27 a.m. Central Standard Time, October 8th, 2019. Signed by Kraus, Charity Colleen. Then I did a follow-up. Dear, it has been altered. After my last composition, I attempted to do further research and found this article. Then there's a link to an article discussing the deployment of the Green Army to assist your community's efforts. There is, by the way, a major military-related technology conference in Washington, D.C. today. At least 20% of its primary focus areas are on medical technology. That 20% estimate is very relevant when compared with what else was discussed in the article. In situations concerning employee exposure to radiation, there is an accepted standard regarding 2 rads of exposure within a specific time frame. I am immediately concerned that the point 2 reference in this article in reference to other metrics is actually an attempt to associate your situation with someone else that is not actually about your needs and rather takes your situation and attempts to escalate the risk. Your concerns are profound enough without having to use your real experience as fodder for another context. It is important to acknowledge that you and your community, by now, have already provided years' worth of medical and biological data that has been used for many other reasons, it seems, than for you and your community to obtain justice for what happened. I hope that whoever you get to assist you moving forward is able to appropriately identify potential areas of research and development by DuPont and others, including Denka, that would rely on the production and availability of biodata connected to past experiences with environmental contamination incidents in order to meet standards or develop technologies. In that regard, I would recommend you get some assistance in focusing on what DuPont intends to do between now and the beginning of January of 2020. Additionally, see if you can find information on the specific differences in standards and technical development connected to Denka's plant in Japan and what the Japanese standards are. If they have different processes there that have higher standards, but U.S. law does not require the same standards, then perhaps you can get assistance with changing the standards here and establishing accountability to that level. I hope the Green Army's efforts have been sincere with your community. Kraus, Charity Colleen, signed 11:45 a.m. CST, October 8th, 2019. Then there was a reference that a parish in the community was attempting to assist with the efforts. Hello, please see below. I wish you well. I present the following points with faith and belief that all you need can be acquired and completed within the bounds of the law and in a manner that provides possibilities for other forms of change. I hope you are able to heal and know good health without any violation of your personal community sovereignty. Charity Colleen Kraus, 11:48 a.m. CST, October 8th, 2019. By the way, I request that this not be used in any manner to establish a security or other transactional process, and if there is any effort by any law enforcement or military organization to intercept or surveil my email activities, I absolutely refuse to provide consent to this being used as an option or a future for the U.S. military or any connected efforts. I never received any response. My understanding is that the Green Army was the name of an organization that was led by an American military veteran who was attempting to assist communities that had experienced environmental injustice, which I was hoping was actually connected to a larger movement of accountability that may include American veterans who had some past experience being exposed to chemical weapons and all of the matters associated with that had been going on for, as I understood, several years, and were very specifically and significantly connected to activities in Japan that go all the way back to the Vietnam War. My concern is the reason that this is relevant today is because there is an announcement that the father of an Iraqi lawyer was kidnapped on October 8th of 2019. It would have been October 8th, 2019 in Iraq before it was October 8th, 2019 in Dallas, Texas. His father apparently was killed 2 days ago, which would be the day before. Just so you know, the flag is black, but the umbrella is red. I wouldn't have chosen it myself, if you know what I mean.